Want to have beautiful, healthy looking skin. Someone use expensive skincare products trying to stay young on the outside. But the fact is that aging is a sophisticated process happening to all the systems inside your body and even down to the basic building block, your cells. Many studies suggest that aging can be speed up or slow down. Yes, today we're going to teach you how to slow down or even reverse aging process in a holistic approach. So that means restoring dewy glowing skin with our Zinzino products. I'm so excited to have our keynote speaker for tonight to cover this topic, and his name is Shane. Shane got his master's degree from the Chinese University of Hong Kong in 2011, majoring in nutrition, food science, and technology. He's also working on his second master's degree from the King's College in neuroscience. He's also a certified medical interpreter, a certified HeartMed clinical intervention practitioner, a certified brain health coach, a qualified yoga and meditation teacher, also a certified ketogenic nutrition specialist. So without further ado, let's welcome Shane to begin. Shane, over to you.
Thank you very much, Peter. Thank you, Rob. Let me share my screen first. Hello, everyone. It's me again, Shane. So tonight we'll be talking about how to restore dewy, glowy skin. Before we start, could you please spend some time reading the disclaimer, please? Thank you. Okay, thank you. Is the volume of my voice okay? Do I have to speak? Okay, perfect. Thank you. So here's a rundown of what we're going to cover tonight or today, depending on where you are. So we'll first talk about some visible signs of skin damage, and then we'll talk about what the causes are. And then we'll take a deep dive into skin aging. And then finally, I'll share with you some strategies to reverse, to slow down, or maybe even reverse the process. So let's get started. So first of all, okay, let's take a look at these pictures. These are all different forms of skin damage. Even, so you see, we have wrinkles here, we have dark circles, and then we have dry skin, eczema, and acne. These are not just conditions, skin conditions that you cannot avoid. They're not an inevitable part of everyday life. They only happen because some form of damage has been done to your skin or to your cells. So this is what we're going to talk about today or tonight. I'm going to share with you some information that I've found that could be useful to you to reverse this whole process and to protect yourself better. So what are the causes of these conditions? And the very core of a lot of these conditions are inflammation. We've talked about it many times before. Inflammation is at the very core of most diseases of civilization, whether it's heart disease or diabetes or neurological diseases. Many of them have inflammation at their core. And the same goes for skin diseases or conditions. And that is what we're going to talk about today. And of course, there's also DNA damage. And of course, there's stress. When we talk about stress, there's physical stress and psychological stress and sugar. Sugar is a big thing. It's actually one of the major players of skin conditions. And then there's also oxidation. And then finally, many people think that, these what we call visible signs of skin damage are an inevitable part of aging, but are they really inevitable? We'll look more deeply into that tonight. So what exactly is skin aging? In a nutshell, skin aging is a process of losing structure of your skin. So if you look at this picture here, on the left, you see skin of a 20-year-old, and then skin of a 40-year-old, and skin of a 60-year-old. The difference here is if you look at, this the part beneath the skin, beneath the epidermis, you see a lot of lines here, structures here. These are fibers. They form a mesh of fibers, a structure that hold the skin up, which is why when you're 20, you feel your skin is plump, your skin is elastic. Whereas if you look at the skin of a 60-year-old, there is a lot of loss of these fibers here. So what is really going on? Like I said, skin aging is essentially a process of losing these structures. And when you lose these structures, you lose tensile strength, which is the strength of, which is when your skin has tensile strength, you can pull it without breaking your skin. And also there's elasticity and thickness. You see, a 60-year-old skin is much thinner because much of the structure is lost. And also when this structure is basically collapsed, it does not hold water or moisture as well as a 20-year-old skin that we see here. If you're interested in the science behind this process, I highly recommend that you read Dr. Paul Clayton's book, Let Your Food Be Your Pharmaconutrition. And also you could watch his presentation on YouTube, Dr. Paul Clayton, Balance Extend Skin. There you will find a lot more information, and he will talk more deeply about this topic, but we have limited time tonight, so I won't be going so deeply into that. So that's what you need to know for now. So skin aging is essentially a process of losing structure. So what exactly are we losing? There are many proteins in our skin that form the structure. Two of them are very important, collagen and elastin. If you lose collagen, wrinkles form on your face. If you lose elastin, your skin loses its elasticity. And elastin is most abundant in our blood vessels because, well, our blood vessels are constantly constricting and dilating, which is why they need to be very elastic, very flexible. So what you need to know here is an enzyme. You see MMP here. So its full name is matrix metalloproteinases, but it doesn't matter. You don't need to remember the name of the protein. All you need to know is it's an enzyme that eats up these proteins. So our skin is actually in a constant dynamics of breaking down and renewal or regeneration. So when the process is balanced, when you are breaking down as much as you're building new proteins, then your skin stays youthful, plump, dewy, moisturized. But in the event of breaking down happening faster than renewing, then you lose the structures that we saw in the previous slide, which is what happens in a lot of people because of their lifestyle, because of their diet, and also because of many things that they do, many different forms of harm that they cause to their body. So this enzyme here, it's not really an enemy because we need to break down our skin, these proteins, because we need to repair our skin. It only becomes an issue when it happens too fast or when renewal is not happening fast enough. So when that is not happening fast enough, you have what we call these visible signs, because you're losing the matrix, you're losing the structure, your skin becomes thinner, you lose the elasticity, and it doesn't hold water as well. So, okay, since you said if we lose collagen, wrinkles form on our face. Well, does that mean I can just eat collagen to replenish the collagen on my face to keep myself young, to keep myself looking youthful? Well, the thing is, you can eat collagen, but it's not going to help much because, first of all, it's not a very good source of protein. It's not a complete protein. It lacks tryptophan. And secondly, your body, you don't eat collagen to produce collagen in your body. You need vitamin C. If you look at this graph, this chart here, your skin especially the epidermis, the outer layer, actually has the highest content of vitamin C among all the different tissues and organs in your body. So if you want to have elastic, plump, dewy looking skin, you need to have vitamin C, lots of vitamin C. So now that we understand what skin aging really is, if we want to master this process, it comes down to striking a balance between, the process of breaking down and the process of regeneration. Or more precisely, we want more renewal, we want more regeneration to happen than breaking down. So first of all, you need to know what contributes to the breaking down. I mean, what accelerates this breaking down process? Of course, like we said, inflammation, oxidation, sun, too much sun exposure, smoking, pollution, and finally, sugar. Sugar is a very big thing, like I said. So what I'm going to talk about from now on is to give you, is to talk about the root causes, because of course you can spend, thousands of dollars on the most expensive skincare products and then put on your face. They might do something to you. They might, give you some relief. They might help you to a certain extent. But if you're not tackling the root causes, aging is still going to happen, because no matter how much stuff you put on your skin, it's not going to be able to get to the root cause, the cells. So what you need to do is you need to understand the root causes, and more importantly, you see a pair of scales here. You want to eliminate the stressors and add in enhancers so that you're tilting the balance towards regeneration. Regeneration means anti-aging, reversing photoaging, skin aging, so that you stay youthful, you stay young. The first root cause is, of course, inflammation. So let's have a look here. Before we talk about it, you need to understand where you are. Since we know inflammation is at the core of most diseases we know today, you need to know where you stand in terms of your inflammation level. And one very important marker is your omega-3 levels. And how do we know what our omega-3 levels are? It's very easy. It only takes 2 minutes. You just need to do the balance test. It's a finger prick test. It takes just 2 minutes, and then you can send it to us or send it to Norway yourself. And within 2 weeks, you'll receive your results, and you will know where you stand, because your omega-3 levels are a very accurate indicator of the inflammation level in your body. So according to this study, they followed the subjects, the patients, the people for 5 years, and they found that people who had consistently low blood levels of omega-3 had faster shortening of the telomere. Telomeres are a part of the DNA, and they are basically a marker of aging. So the shorter they are, the more aged, the faster the aging is. So if your blood levels of omega-3 are low, you need to increase that levels, and that's what we're going to talk about later. So first of all, find out where you stand. The first important contributor to inflammation in the lifestyle arena is, of course, smoking. Well, it's no surprise to us, and we all know that smoking contributes to aging. It's even printed on the package of cigarettes. But my approach is, I'm not just telling you these problems, I'm also giving you a solution. So you see, this study actually looked at smokers, and they gave these smokers fish oil, and they found that, of course, naturally, if you smoke, you will have a lot of DNA damage in your body. But the scientists found that if these smokers also take fish oil, the DNA damage could be reduced by increasing the antioxidant level in their body. So if you look at this this graph here on the right, on the left is the change in the DNA damage marker, and on the bottom is the change in the total antioxidant capacity. So as you increase your antioxidant capacity, the DNA damage also goes down. So it's very important. Let's look at some numbers here. So the fish oil group, so from after 3 months of taking fish oil, the DNA damage marker goes down a lot and it's statistically significant, whereas the placebo group actually goes up. And then also the antioxidant level also increased. Also, it's also statistically significant in this group. So it tells you, well, so what I'm saying is I'm not telling you that you can continue to smoke. Definitely not. You should, well, nobody should smoke. You should quit smoking. But then there are also studies that show that if you quit smoking too abruptly, there might be consequences. So my advice to you is talk to a licensed healthcare provider and set up a plan to quit smoking. And in the meantime, while you are in the process of quitting smoking, take omega-3 fatty acids to help you help protect your body, to decrease the DNA damage that smoking does to your body. The next thing is air pollution. Most of us live in a city, and there's lots and lots of environmental toxins, and one such toxin is fine particulate matter. In this study, scientists found 70 adults who live in Shanghai, and Shanghai is a heavily polluted city. It's ranked 556th in terms of pollution level in the world. How polluted is it? Well, in the year 2021, out of the 12 months of the year, 3 months the level of pollution was 7 to 10 times higher than the WHO standard, and 4 months out of 12 were 5 to 7 times higher, and the remaining 5 months were 3 to 5 times higher. So there was not a single month where they met the WHO standard. Well, so you see how polluted it is. But these scientists gave these people fish oil. And let's look at this chart here. On the left is IL-1 alpha. It's a pro-inflammatory marker, so it increases inflammation. And the dark dots represent fish oil. You see, within 48 hours, just 2 days, the inflammation goes down. And on the right, these are anti-inflammatory markers. We also see it goes up, which means inflammation on the whole, it decreases in these people who are exposed to so much air pollution. And below as well, these are all markers of, well, we see the antioxidant capacity and glutathione, which is an antioxidant enzyme in our body. So they all, so omega-3 is beneficial for all these markers. Then the next root cause is obesity. If you have read Dr. Paul Clayton's book, you will know that fat tissues, especially those around our internal organs called visceral adipose tissues, are a source of inflammation. They constantly release inflammatory compounds in our body. So this study found that if you take fish oil, omega-3 fatty acids, well, we know that fish oil can help what we call systemic inflammation, meaning the whole body's inflammation will go down. But this study goes a step further, and it shows that it can actually decrease the inflammation in your fat tissues. It's very, very significant, because even though in this study, there was no weight loss, we found all these inflammatory markers went down. So it's very important, because even though you might not be losing weight at the moment, at least you're protected from the inflammation, because inflammation can cause further damage to your tissues, to your bones, to your muscles, to your brain, to your heart, So it's very important that you realize there is a way to protect yourself, even though you might not be successful in losing weight yet. Of course, in the long run, you should maintain a healthy weight. Let's move on to the next root cause, which is photo damage. What does that mean? Damage from the sun, from the sun. Okay, so there's a concept you need to know. We call MED, minimal erythritol dose. So what it means is the amount of sunlight you need in order to have the response, in order for the skin to turn red. So in this study, they also use fish oil, and they found that if you take fish oil, your skin actually becomes more resistant to UV, which means it takes a longer time or maybe stronger UV for your skin to turn red, which means you're more protected. If we talk about fish oil, we cannot leave out olive oil because they go hand in hand with each other. And so I have a bottle of Revu here, and also fish oil. They really go hand in hand with each other. So according to this study, if you take olive oil, your skin is actually protected from aging. So you see here, a high consumption of olive oil is correlated with less skin photo aging. On the contrary, if you take sunflower oil or peanut oil, these are really bad for you because they're high in omega-6 and they actually promote aging. So what you need to do is you want to take more olive oil. So you can take it as it is, or you can take balance oil, which has both fish oil and olive oil. Okay, the next star ingredient that I would like to introduce you to is fucoidan. Fucoidan is something that Dr. Paul Clayton talks about a lot as well in his book. So I highly recommend that you check it out. And so fucoidan is an extract from seaweed, and it can be found in two products, Zinzino and an extent. So what does it do? In this experiment of human skin cells, you see on the left is control, so they have no exposure to UV. The second column are cells that have been exposed to UV but no fucoidan protection. And you see, the higher the concentration, this is the right concentration. If you compare the leftmost with the rightmost, you can see they're almost identical, meaning that fucoidan protected these skin cells from the oxidative stress or the skin aging that UV exerted on them. And also, let's look at some graphs here. So I put a horizontal line here for you to see it more easily. So this is a measure of oxidation in a cell. So SHC4 is the ingredient that we're interested in. This is a control. This is UV without any supplement. So you see, if you take the right dose, the oxidation actually goes down. Which means your cells are protected. And here it means this refers to cell survival. If you take the right dose, your cells are actually protected from cell death, from UV. So it's a very potent supplement, and it's very, very powerful. So the next root cause is DNA damage. Before we go into that, you need to know that DNA damage actually happens on a daily basis because we're constantly producing new cells, we're replicating cells. And in this process, we have to replicate our DNA. And that process will inevitably create some DNA damage or errors. So these errors are actually damage. So they happen all the time. But if you have low levels of DHA and EPA, these damages are less likely to be reversed or corrected by your cells, by your body. So in this study, scientists looked at some Brazilian children and adolescents and found that those who had the lowest levels of DHA and EPA had the highest levels of DNA damage. So, and they also, the reason why is that omega-3 fatty acids are an integral part of our cell membranes. And if you don't have enough supply of these, you're compromising the integrity of your DNA, which means you will not be producing good, useful DNA, which means more errors will happen. Errors equal DNA damage. So how do we know if we have an optimal level of DNA, of omega-3? Very easy, like I said, just take the balance test. It takes only 2 minutes, and then you'll know. So, okay, I know now that DNA damage happens on a daily basis, but what can I do to protect myself from it? Okay, there are many things you can do. One of them, we just talked about omega-3. It turns out fibers, one particular fiber, inulin, that you can find in xenobiotic, can help you protect you from DNA damage. In fact, inulin can lower the DNA damage in the cells by 51%. And if you combine it with probiotics, good bacteria, you can lower it by 71%. What about other fibers? Okay, in this study that looked at fiber intake and aging, they found that if you have 1 gram increase in fiber, you are increasing the length of your telomere. So just now I said telomere length is an indicator of aging. The shorter it is, the faster the aging. So you want your telomere to be long. So if you take 1 extra gram of fiber, you will lengthen your telomere by 8.3 base pair. It doesn't matter what it means. You just treat it as a unit. So in 1 serving of xenobiotic, which is 2 scoops, you have 12 grams of fibers. And if we do the calculation based on the data here, for every serving of xenobiotic you take per day, your cells will become 6.4 years younger. So here you see the data is 10 grams equals 5.4 years of 5.4 fewer years of biological aging. So here we have 12 grams per serving, and it's 6.4 years younger. Okay, the next root cause we need to tackle is stress. Stress comes from many different, it comes in many different forms. The first one is actually sleep. Believe it or not, as many as 40 to 70% of people in the world actually suffer from sleep disorder, various forms of sleep disorder. And in this study done by Oxford, they looked at about 400 children, and these children all share one common feature. They had below average reading abilities, and they studied them, and they gave them algal oil, DHA, in fact. And they found that by taking DHA, their sleep actually improved. In fact, every night they had 7 fewer wake episodes, which means they woke up 7 times less than they used to before they took fish oil. Also, they slept on average 58 minutes more than the control group. This is really, really big news, because we know that children in general need more sleep than adults. And as parents, you don't want your children to keep waking up, because that means they might not have energy the next day, or them waking up could disrupt your own sleep. So it's very important to make sure they sleep well. And this study also found that there's an association between DHA and AA ratio, which is essentially here it's omega-3 to omega-6, but you know, in our test we talk about 6:3 ratio, which is actually the same thing, you just reverse them. And this ratio is very important, a very important indicator of sleep disturbance. So the lower the ratio, which means the better, the more optimal it is, the fewer disturbances you will have, or these children will have. So if your children are not sleeping well, then you want to have them have their omega-3 level checked. So I thought we were talking about skin. Why are we talking about sleep now? Because we know that if you don't sleep well, your skin will suffer. And so here we're talking about children, and children are especially susceptible to acne, to different forms of breakouts. And if you want to help your adolescents, you want to make sure that they sleep well. And this is very important. And what about adults? In this study done in the States, they looked at adults who had less than 7 hours of sleep, and they found that the omega-3 index was consistently lower than people who had longer hours of sleep, and their EPA and DHA levels were also lower. So this is a practical tool for all you partners. If you come across a potential client who tells you that they have problems sleeping, and they don't know why, well, maybe you can suggest to them that they can do the balance test, because it will give you so many insights to different aspects of their health. And if they find that, their omega-3 index is actually lower than average, or it's not optimal, then maybe this is the cause. We don't know. I mean, we're not doctors, so we cannot diagnose, but you can give some advice, health advice. I mean, because this affects so many different areas of your health. So it's not, it's beneficial to do the omega-3 test, omega-3 test, and know your index. And so we're talking about stress, and sleep is a major contributor to stress. If you don't sleep well, also emotions. So in this study on medical students, scientists looked at their anxiety level, and they gave them omega-3 fatty acids, and they found that, well, of course we know omega-3 will lower the inflammation, but not only that, the omega-3 fatty acids they took also helped them decrease the level of their anxiety symptoms by 20%, which is really, really significant. And again, they concluded that the 6:3 ratio is a very important indicator of anxiety level. So if people have constant anxiety level and they don't know why, well, have them do the test, and maybe this will give them some insights into the reason why. Okay, so now you might say, well, theoretically speaking, these omega-3 fatty acids or all the other nutrients help, but I want to see some real results of skin condition being resolved. So here, let's have a look at this study of people who have acne, and they supplement it with omega-3 fatty acids. So these people have mild to moderate acne, and by taking omega-3 fatty acids for 10 weeks, can you see the blue line here? The inflammatory lesions, which means the number of acne went down a lot, and also the severity also reduced. So this is proof that omega-3 fatty acids actually does help improve our skin condition. Next thing, the big thing that I told you about is sugar. So sugar is a very important contributor to skin aging, because if you have a lot of sugar, it can bind with the proteins, the structure of your skin, and prevents them from being repaired by your body, which means that the damage will always be there if you have a lot of sugar. And it's especially bad if you let's say, if you take some high starch, high carbohydrate food and you deep fry it like donuts, or if you, let's see here, crispy rice cereal, if you bake it, or if you, well, in Chinese cuisine, they deep fry it, and you see the AGE refers to advanced glycation end products, which are oxidation triggers. They cause aging, they cause wrinkles on your face. So you see here, if you have a lot of sugar, these are going to show on your face, especially if you have sugar and if you cook it in high heat. So in another study, they found that if you have soft drinks like soda pops, for every serving of 20 ounce, adding 4.6 years of age, biological age, to your cells, to your body, which is why I am against these soft drinks. There are so many healthier drinks out there that you can take, but that's outside the scope of today's presentation. Just make sure you know what you are doing to your body when you drink a can of Coke. So like I said, I don't just give you problems, I also give you a solution. So the solution, of course, again, is omega-3 fatty acids. In this case, we see a measure of AGE, advanced glycation end products, the compounds that cause wrinkles on your face. If you take omega-3 fatty acids, these compounds can be greatly reduced. And not only that, insulin resistance in your body can be improved as well. So what are some strategies that you can employ, that you can use to become healthier, to become more youthful, to look better? Well, first of all, since I'm a nutritionist, I will be talking about food first. We saw these scales before. Our strategy, of course, is to tilt the balance towards regeneration so that you keep reversing the clock, you keep reversing aging, you stay young. Diet, it's a very important factor, because the food you eat will ultimately become part of your body. So if you want your body to be healthy, you need to eat healthy food. And in general, you want to have lots of vegetables and fruits and fibers, so that your telomere stay long. And like I said, longer telomere means more youthful looking skin and overall healthier. Yeah, because the shorter it is, the faster the aging. So in this study, scientists looked at the correlation between fruit and vegetable intake and telomere length. They found that every day, if you have 100 grams of vegetables and fruit, you are taking 1.9 years of age off your cells or your skin. So you will appear younger if you eat lots and lots of fruits. Okay, so now that we know what we should eat, but well, I don't have the luxury of cooking every day. I work in the office, or maybe I work in a place where I don't have access to lots of vegetables. What can I do? Well, there are always other solutions. So you can use some skincare products like skin serum, and there are many supplements that can help you, like the ones I've already told you about: Extend, Balance Oil, and Xenobiotic. The three of them, these three form the health protocol. So I'll be talking about them. Now, so our strategy is, of course, tilting the balance towards renewal and regeneration. So if you want to tackle inflammation, you can use omega-3 fatty acids, you can use polyphenols, and if you want to take care of glycation, which is the sugar problem, you can use fibers, you can use omega-3 fatty acids, and if you want to take care of the oxidation problem, you can use beta glucan from Extent, and you can also use polyphenols here. So let's talk about the skin serum. Skin serum is actually very, very smartly formulated because the whole formula is tilting the balance towards regeneration. Why is that? Let's look at these functions here. So we have ingredients that are anti-inflammatory, that are antioxidizing. So they are eliminating the stresses, right? And we have copper peptides that stimulate collagen, further tilting the balance towards regeneration, right? And then we have beta glucan that does both. So this skin serum, well, it on its own tilts the balance towards regeneration to give you plumper skin and yeah, fuller skin and smoother complexion as well. So let's look at some evidence. We have beta glucan in this formula. So in this study that actually looked at topical beta glucan, meaning they apply it on the skin, and they found that if you put beta glucan on your skin, you are more resistant to stresses like detergent. So your skin is better protected, and also it's better protected from sunlight. So the oxidation compounds formed are much, much lower compared with the control. And did you know that you can also actually apply omega-3 fatty acids on your skin? In this study done in Korea, they had some young Koreans put EPA, which is a fish oil, on their butt. And they found that in 2 weeks' time, not only did the MMP is the enzyme that breaks down your skin, decrease, the amount of collagen also increased, which means omega-3, if applied on your skin, also on its own tilts the balance towards regeneration. It decreases the stresses, it takes out MMP, and it increases collagen, so you have fuller skin. And like I mentioned before, when we talk about fish oil, we have to talk about olive oil together because they together form the balance oil. So in this study, scientists found that EPA, DHA, and olive oil, oleic acid, inhibit MMP expression, the enzyme that breaks down your skin. And they found that the 6:3 ratio is very, very important. It's a very accurate indicator of this expression of this enzyme. So again, do the test. And the star ingredient that I told you about, fucoidan, the seaweed extract, again, this tilts the balance further because it does both things. It takes out the stressor and it increases the enhancers. So it gives you more collagen and it takes out the enzyme that breaks down your skin. And finally, let's look at some real results. Okay, so theoretically, I know these ingredients can do these and those, but can I see some real results? So in this study that looked at a supplement, an omega-3 fatty acid supplement, and they found that in 12 weeks' time, the elasticity of the skin of these women under the study increased by 10%. And you might think 10% is insignificant, but let me tell you, it is very significant because for premenopausal women, their skin naturally loses elasticity by 0.38% every year. And if you're postmenopausal, you lose elasticity by 0.55% every year. So if you can increase the elasticity by 10%, it's a huge deal, which means you are literally reversing the clock, and you are taking years off your skin. You're making your skin look younger. So that's some real result for you to see. And I hope you learned something from tonight's presentation, and now you are in a better place to make your skin look better from the inside out. And that's all for my sharing tonight. Thank you very much.